All right, so good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you are tuning into this Miraculous Monday. And it's been a few weeks since I don't know if it's the courage or something to do this again. Pull out the phone and turn the camera on and just riff, if you will, about my life, about spirit, about miracles, and about all of the things that we talk about here. Miraculous Mondays, all of the things. And I'm back in Ohio, where I've been really just kind of going back inward, if you will, and spending a little bit more time inside, literally and figuratively, spending a little bit more time inside in terms of inside my home, and also inside just in terms of my psyche. I have felt I don't know, it's like it takes a lot of energy to do these types of things, to put oneself out there in the world and say, hey, raise your hand, hey, I'm here and I'm on a mission, if you will, to share the love and to stay committed to this level of living. When I'm in Ohio, there's this part of me that really comes forward that just wants to let it all go, stop paying attention to all of it. The food, stop paying attention to what I watch. I just want to sit around and watch Modern Family, or be one of these people that there's such beautiful people here, and they just seem so relaxed in a way. They're just doing what they do, right? They drop their children off at the camp, and then they go do the grocery store, and then they come back, and then they unload the groceries. And it's so yogic in a way. It's so centered. It's so peaceful. And I'm so attracted to that, right? My whole thing is about being centered and being confident and being grounded. Yet I find myself, if you will, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, as someone who's doing what I can to get some messaging out into the world around love and around the reality of love and around the healing power of love, I find myself often caught outside that realm of, I'm just going to go to the store and come back and make lunch and be peaceful. And there's this energy of production that I find I get distracted by, and that I find I don't know if it's a motivation, but it's definitely something that's makes it difficult for me to just be. And it surprises me, because that's my whole rub, right? Just be, just relax. But there it is. And I'm bringing it to you today because I just wanted to be honest. And I think that being honest is really the business these days, of saying, look, none of us has it all together, but all of us, I think all of us really, whether we're aware of it or not, want to be peaceful and want to live a good life and want to raise our children and build our businesses and do what we can to promote love and peace and safety in the world, not only for ourselves but for the future generations. And the way in which we do this with yoga on the mat is by sending out happy vibes, right? Practicing, getting more people spending time practicing the art of yoga. And then off the mat, we do it by being very conscious of what we do, being very conscious of what we're thinking about, being very conscious around how we are showing up on a moment-to-moment basis. And today it was really interesting, because this morning I was it took me at least an hour of reading in A Course in Miracles before I was oh yeah, that's good stuff. And then my children got up, and then it was that for a minute, and I still hadn't made it to my mat yet. And so I got the kids out the door with their poppy and was listen, I have until 2 today for my professional contribution. And it was like I put on jeans and I was like, I am going straight to my computer. I have all of these things to do. But I realized that my mind just wasn't there, that I was feeling just this weird vibration, like I wasn't fully in the peace zone. So I went back into my room, took off my jeans, put on my yoga pants, which I still have on, and got on my mat, and felt so much better. Just a mini rocket one. I just felt so much better. I felt so much more present, and did some recordings for our yoga off the mat modules today, and they were just so beautiful and so guided and so just like, I'm so grateful for this work that I get to do in the world. And yes, the emails are still there, and yes, all of the tasks that I had are still there and yet to be manifested. But I was reminded of Larry this morning so deeply when I was practicing, so deeply that I actually was moved to tears. His last practice was here in this house, and we've been on the fence around selling it. And we actually had someone who reached out to us and said, "Hey, do you want to sell your house? We're interested." And it was like, oh wow, okay, that could happen. And yeah, okay, that could happen, and let's see what happens with that. But I was practicing, and I remembered Larry's last practice in this living room, and he did a handstand at the wall, and it was just like this overwhelming feeling of how much I missed him. You know, I still feel the tears coming. Just how much I missed being in his presence and practicing yoga with him, and how safe I felt in his presence. Like, not only safe, you know, in the world, but just safe spiritually. I just felt like he was so dialed in that I didn't have to dial in as deeply. And maybe we do that with our yoga teachers, and Larry's whole thing was not that, right? It was all about being independent and self-reliant rather than codependent. But as his, you know, late wife, there was still a part of me that was like, gosh, I really do miss him. I miss practicing yoga with him. I miss his leadership in It's Yoga International, for sure. It's not been an easy road. Every time I got like I was this morning in terms of being a little nervous and feeling like I had to get things done, he would fire me. He would tell me, you know, you need to take a break. You're taking life too seriously. None of this is real. And I never really understood what he meant. There was always a part of me that was like, this guy is just so crazy. What does he mean none of this is real? You know, and then I get on my mat, and then I get off the mat, and then I start recording these meditations for the yoga off the mat group, and I'm absorbed in it. And I know, wow, he's right. None of it really matters. And yeah, why not just go to the store and make a little bit of food for the family and just keep it light and trust that, yes, this business bit is tricky at times, and yes, there are a lot of tasks that need to be done and all of that, and trusting. I just keep trusting. I mean, how many more years of this is it going to take? I mean, it's been 15 years for me in this reality, in this practice of yoga on and off the mat, and still there are places that I wish I was, in terms of our business, in terms of our finances, and so be it. There's still something here for me to learn, and I know that, especially in these last few days, I've just been really like, all right, Spirit, what is it for me? I mean, what would you have me learn in this moment, and what am I missing, and what still needs polishing within my consciousness around this, you know, around the business, around expansion, around the finances, around the team, around production, and so forth. So yeah, perhaps, you know, the miracle is just in that it's all happening, and I'm open. I'm willing to shift my perception. I'm willing to take responsibility for my part in it. And one last piece I did want to speak to is around comparison. And I really found it present. It came through so deep for me when I got back here to Ohio, I was like, my ego kind of tripped out and was like, oh, started to compare myself. I started to be like, well, look at their house, or look at this car, and look at this. And I don't know if it's just an American thing. My hair. It could be a bit of an American thing. I mean, this is a capitalist place, and there's a lot of energy towards more, more, more. And but I saw my mind go there first couple of days I was here, and like, oh wow, I'm never gonna have these things. I'm not good enough, or and it was like kind of awkward because it had been a long time since I really allowed my mind to go there. And in going there, it was interesting because what I heard was comparison hides gratitude. And I shared this with our Yoga Off the Mat peeps last week, that comparison hides gratitude. And when I am comparing myself to others, I'm not grateful for all of my own blessings, which are so many. And when I compare myself, I'm outside the circle. I'm outside the unified field where we're all one. And that feels really scary. That feels really sad to me. That feels really confusing and discouraging. And what that actually does is stop me from producing. It stops me from being present to all that I have right now and all of the just gratitude I have for this work that I get to do in the world. So I wanted to say that. I think that the miracles this week are around staying grateful, even if it's not where you want it to be, and even if it's not as like good as you want it to be, or as awesome, or whatever it is that your mind is preventing you from being grateful from, like whatever it is, be grateful anyway. Be grateful anyway. And if you're missing someone that used to be in your life, send them love and know that they're still here. Larry's still here. I felt him. I know he's still here. And for me, it's just keeping those communications open and surrendering to this whole thing, which is, you show up to your life, you do the best you can, and that's that. You surrender the day to a higher power. And that's what I wanted to give you this beautiful Monday, and send you lots and lots of love and gratitude. Gratitude for your participation in my journey of life, and gratitude for my ability to be a part of yours. It's really such a privilege to share this practice with others and to see the transformation. My goodness, our Yoga Off the Mat group, I mean, it didn't take long. We've been at it for 6 weeks now, and some major stuff has been shifting for a lot of our mighty companions. So lots of love to each of you, and be in touch soon. Bye for now.